Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different than my others. We're just gonna be chilling on the big comfy couch, catching up because there is quite a bit that has been happening behind the scenes over the past few weeks. I mean, obviously I've been vlogging during these weeks, but I just haven't been vlogging certain parts of my life. I have mentioned in a couple of vlogs that I was recently put on medication, which I know that's so annoying to mention something like that and then be like, but I'm not telling you what for. It's not like that. It's just I haven't wanted to say anything until I know everything because I've honestly been like absolutely terrified over these past few weeks. Like it's been over a month. I mean, it's a couple months at this point. It's been really not great. I mean, everything is fine, I think. I will say that. You'll see where I'm going with all of this. I'm sorry. I know I am being annoying, but basically, let's just start from the beginning. About a couple months ago at this point, I went to my annual gynecologist checkup. Everything was fine, but I did mention like, oh, I have very, very irregular periods. And honestly, that has been going on for years. Like, this is so bad, but problem is, like I've thought about this, when you, at least in my understanding, I feel like when people are getting like really heavy, really awful periods, like there is a motivation to go to the doctor and be like, help me, like, right? Like, this is awful. For me, even though I knew in my heart of hearts, like, this is not good, not getting a period, like, kind of, for the moment, like, I know it's not good, but for the moment, it's kind of great. You're just like, oh, wow. Like, I wasn't even thinking twice about it. When I went on birth control, though, that regulated my periods so much. Like, I was getting a period every month. I know they say it's, like, not a real period, whatever, but I was getting a period every month. And then I randomly just went off birth control, like, over a year ago. No real reason other than, like, honestly, I was traveling. I was running out of my next packet, and I figured I kind of am going to want to get off this stuff eventually. Like, I don't want to be on this medication forever, which come to find out that actually might have to be the case. I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so I got off birth control a year ago. Everything was like starting to like really continue to be normal until it wasn't. Until, I mean, it's been months since I've gotten a period. It's just so irregular. So let's back up to a couple months ago. I went to the gyno. I mentioned this. I said, this is abnormal. It's normal for me at this point, but I really would like you to run blood work because I think something is wrong. And they also recommended that I do an ultrasound, which honestly, when it comes to that ultrasound, I wasn't even thinking twice. Like, I was just like, I guess, like, and in my head, I honestly was like, I feel like this is just like a waste of time and money, like, because it's not cheap, even with insurance. And I was just like, all right, whatever. I went in for my follow-up to get the ultrasound. Like, the second it was all happening, I knew something was wrong. Like, you know, like I was like talking to like my gynecologist, and then I could just tell she was like looking at it in such, I don't know, I just knew something was wrong. At this point in the video, I started going on a little tangent about all of the worries I had, and I'm just going to delete it because I just don't think there's any benefit, like, for me sitting here and talking about all of that. Like, we're just gonna move on. And yeah, she told me that there were many things. So the first thing, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which I have heard so much about. I feel like so many people on the internet have it that I follow. I never in a million years thought I had it though, like especially getting diagnosed, I feel like this late in the game. But there were a couple of reasons she said that. It is a very, from what I've heard, overdiagnosed condition. Endometriosis is a condition that's underdiagnosed. It's very hard to diagnose. PCOS tends to be overdiagnosed, but based on like those criteria from what I've read about, it sounds like, yeah, I do have PCOS. There are other symptoms a lot of people have that I just haven't. I know an excess facial hair is one of them, where I've never like had to like shave, like, you know how like some people I guess get their lip shaved. Like, I don't have that. I don't have like I don't have like a beard, facial hair, like nothing like that. I know some people have dealt with acne and extreme weight gain. Like, I haven't dealt with some of these typical symptoms, I feel like. But yeah, so I have PCOS. However, like, that's the least of my concerns, because what she also found is, oh my gosh, like I feel like I wasn't even paying attention completely, because like I just was like so scared. There was like a bright spot on the ultrasound that showed up, like, and when she said that, like, what does that mean? Like, bright spot? Like, what? My uterine lining is like not normal. It's like way more thick. Like, I was like, I can't even tell you everything she found, because I was really like blacking out, which is awful. I had to like actually later go in and look at my report to see all of these things, because it literally felt like I went into this appointment and came out with like a million things wrong with me. She also saw like, what is it, like fluid all around, all around what, I don't know, like my uterus, whatever, wherever it is, which probably means a cyst had ruptured. I didn't put two and two together right then and there. Literally the day before, I was actually vlogging, laying on the couch saying I had to cut short like my errands because I had horrible stomach pain.
I have been dealing with really, really, really bad stomach pains. It's just like so painful right now. It's not nausea, which I'm thankful for. I do not handle nausea well. Give me the pain. I'll take pain any day, but it's just really, really, really painful.
And I think it was the cyst rupturing. So that's kind of crazy that like I could piece that together. And then she saw another cyst on my right ovary that I have to go get monitored next week to see, did this cyst clear up on its own. So she saw all of these abnormalities and said she recommends I do a hysteroscopy, which is essentially like a colonoscopy, but it's the other way, to further investigate and take a biopsy of my uterus. I had a trip to New York scheduled. You guys saw I went to New York. Basically, the opening for the hysteroscopy would have been smack dab in the middle of my trip, or I could put off the hysteroscopy a week and then do it a week later. I asked her, like, is this something that is very imminent? Like, do I need to go in immediately? Like, just obviously I'm a little worried. And there was just like a little hesitation where she kind of just looked at me for like 3 seconds and said, I don't think it'll be like too bad if you wait just a week. That hesitation is all I needed to say. I didn't cancel my trip, but I cut my trip in half and booked a whole new plane ticket. It was not non-refundable. I obviously threw away money. I didn't care. Obviously, PCOS has its own complications and implications. Fertility is a huge one. But at the end of the day, and obviously that's not good, but at the end of the day, like, I'm still alive. I'm still a human. I'm so grateful to be here. There are so many ways to have children through adoption. There's so many ways. What I was concerned about was my life. So I cut that trip short. I enjoyed that trip, but like all in the back of my mind was the hysteroscopy that was coming up. And then also because of PCOS, I got put on this medication called metformin, which I would love to know, are any of you guys on this medication? Like, no one I know in real life is experiencing any of this. Like, it really sucks. Like, it feels like I'm the only human that I know. And like, I hate not being able to like relate to anyone and talk to anyone. But yeah, so I got put on metformin, and she told me there are side effects. A lot of people tend to have stomach problems and feel very nauseous. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, whatever. Not whatever. This medicine, oh my, I'm starting to finally feel okay again. First of all, the first week, I would be driving and I thought I was just going to crash the car of exhaustion. I ended up like, for the first week, I would like go out, do my thing, come home around like 1, 2 p.m. and just sleep the rest of the day. Wake up, have dinner, go back to bed. Like, it just knocked me out. The thing about metformin is it's actually also used for diabetics. 2 different uses. I'm not diabetic, but it's used for diabetics, so I know it does something with blood sugar, but it also has been shown to help people with PCOS. I'm hoping it can help me. So far, I haven't seen any results, but yeah, it is the medication that totally changed my taste buds. I have not been able to eat like normal. Like, food, like normal foods just don't sound good to me. Like, it is the weirdest thing. I've come so close to throwing up during my workouts. I had to just stop working out for a week or two. Like, it has really been a nightmare, but I have to say, like, a nightmare. I'm just, especially with this whole health scare, like, I'm just grateful to be alive. Like, who cares? Like, if medicine is upsetting my stomach a little bit, like, it is not that big of a deal if it can help me eventually, and my body is starting to adjust to it more. I'm still like not back to normal. Like I can't have like one normal potato. Like everything is just weird and messed up with my taste buds. And not even my taste buds, but just like my overall like body is like rejecting certain foods. Like I'm just like the thought of it just makes me like, I'm like disgusted. So anyway, I'm on the metformin. I cut my trip short. I come home and I get ready for the hysteroscopy, which I know you're not supposed to Google things. I know it, okay? I did it. I Googled it. People were talking about this hysteroscopy like it was the worst thing in the entire world. I mean, people verbatim wrote, this is like the worst thing that ever happened to me. And then my doctor's office, they were scaring me because they prescribed me 5 medications preparing for this procedure. I was going to be awake. They prescribed me like multiple pain medications, anti-nausea, something to like open up my cervix, like all of these medicines in preparation for this procedure, a Xanax. And then I also had like laughing gas. Needless to say, I was so unbelievably scared because they go in there and then they like take a biopsy. And if they find anything, some people have fibroids, polyps, you know, it's just something you don't know until you have this procedure. There's a camera in there that's viewing everything. So the procedure is diagnostic, you know, the doctor can view things, and then also like they can take that biopsy. So I was terrified, but it was what it was. Like I had to do it. And I went in there, took all the medication, and then it's interesting with the laughing gas, like you control the laughing gas. Like you control how much you want. You have like this thing, at least in my doctor's office, where you put it like on your nose like this, and then you just breathe 5 times with laughing gas, and they told me then like do 5 normal breaths. I almost was getting more weirded out by the laughing gas. So like I feel like I went really light on the laughing gas, like very, very light. And as for the overall procedure, I mean, listen, it was done in like 5 minutes. Was it painful at certain points? Like it was painful, but I feel like I could do any pain as long as it's not gonna last a long time. Like, you know what I mean? Almost like if you guys have gotten a pap smear, like for like that 1 millisecond, it's like, oh, that didn't feel great, but it's not like it's continuous.
I totally forgot. I will say, I literally think the most painful part of the entire experience was a shot they gave me beforehand to help numb something. I don't know. It almost freaked me out how worried they were about the pain. Like I had multiple medicines I took, and then this shot that they put into my butt. Oh my, like it just was so painful. And I guess like the pain I would have experienced would have been worse, so I'm glad they did it, but I told them after, like, I really think the shot you gave me is, like, the most painful part of the whole thing.
Procedure was done. She said she did not find any fibroids or polyps, but she did take that biopsy, and then it was time for just a waiting game. And let me tell you guys, the waiting game is just, like, the worst part. Once again, I know you are not supposed to Google things. Like, Google is your worst nightmare. I have Googled everything. I have exposed myself to so much, like every bad possible outcome. And I just couldn't help myself. Like I would just be laying in bed at night and I'd just be like, it's time. And I'm not even gonna tell you the things I was Googling because it's just not good. And here's the thing, like, because it does not help when you're talking to people and they say, it'll be fine, like it's fine, like just don't worry about it, like it's all gonna be fine. But it's like, do you know how hollow those words are? You don't know it's going to be fine. It wasn't fine for, like, the 10 people I just watched on YouTube who have these horrible things. Like, it's not necessarily just going to be fine. Gosh, waiting for a biopsy, like, if there's one thing I'm really happy about this whole experience is that, first of all, gratitude. I'm just so grateful to be alive. But second of all, empathy. I mean, people go through this every day, and people go through worse things, and you know it, but like you don't actually know it, right? Like, because you're invincible, you're you, like nothing's gonna happen to you until suddenly things get scary and you think, you know, things might be happening. And so, yeah, this whole experience has made me a lot more empathetic. So I had a telehealth visit. Actually, the receptionist called me and she said, hello, Clancy, your test results are in and the doctor would like to schedule a telehealth visit to go over them with you. And when she said that, like, I actually had like a 7-second pause, which was so awkward because I just like couldn't speak. That just did not sound good. And so I know they're not supposed to give results over the phone though. I didn't even ask and I just said, okay. Scheduled it for 2 days later, freaking out over those 2 days. Went on the telehealth visit, and through the hysteroscopy and the biopsy, they did not detect anything horrible. And I don't even want to say like certain words. You know where I'm going with this, I feel like. However, the biopsy results showed like inactive, meaning like my hormones, like things aren't working normally, which hopefully the metformin can help, is the hope. And then as of right now, I have my second ultrasound to look at the cyst next week. So the hysteroscopy does not get into your ovaries. I think you need to go surgical to do anything with your ovaries. So the cyst is a whole different thing. When I asked her about it again, she said it was a very small cyst. I know cysts are very common. Pretty sure I had the one that ruptured, and I'm wondering if some of my like lower stomach pains that I've had are cysts rupturing. It's just weird. Like I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Like I've had all these awful stomach pains where I'm like, was it all stomach? Because it doesn't even make sense. I'm not eating anything. I'm not eating any of my allergens when my stomach has been hurting. Anyway, I'm just like thinking out loud. But yeah, so I'm really hoping everything is normal with the next ultrasound. And yeah, this has just been a journey, and I just really want to be honest with you guys because I obviously like have just been, vlogging my day-to-day life, but a big part of it has been being very sick from the metformin and not feeling great, and obviously also just being terrified and not myself. And like I have to say, like vlogging and just doing YouTube has been a great distraction though, so I am grateful for it. Like I'm grateful to not have to talk about it all the time, because sometimes it just helps just to, I don't know, but pretend like it's just live my life like normal. I really, really, really want to hear from you if you either have PCOS or you take metformin. Like I am desperate to hear from people who have dealt with something similar. I know a lot of people with PCOS, like one of their symptoms is actually having like very heavy and painful periods, and it's just like, I almost feel like I'm just like in a weird island where I'm like, that's not me at all. I've never had that. And yet I have PCOS. Like, I'm like, does anyone else have the same symptoms as me? I don't know. I will keep you guys posted and updated. And I guess that's it for now. It feels very weird ending this video on such a, like, an unsettled note of just like not knowing about my next steps and what's going on. But that is life. I've decided like I am done being all secretive about everything that's happening. Not secretive in a weird way. Like it's not anything weird. It's just like I haven't even told people in my real life that this is like what I've been going through, because I feel like it's just like it doesn't help anything, and it just makes me more stressed and anxious. Like I'd rather just pretend almost like nothing is happening and everything is great. But thank you so much for the support, even just like your kind comments, whether you're commenting on an outfit photo on my Instagram page or this or that. It has meant the world to me. More than you know, because you have no idea that I've just been like really going through it a little bit lately. And your guys' like messages and support really, really, really means the world to me. So thank you. You have no idea how much I've needed it. And I love you. I am so, so grateful. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.